So the Diablo 4 dev team just promised some wild Sorcerer builds, as they're calling it, and this is happening very soon. But there's more to this one, so we have to dive into it. Also, Blizzard is already reversing some of the changes from the recent patch. A new campfire chat is coming up here. A new Uber boss is also coming with Season 1, and we've got new confirmations about the new class powers for Season 1 as well. But you know what? Check this out right here. And I've got to tell you guys about this incredible Diablo 4 inspired PC. Yes, what you are seeing right here is actually a PC. I kid you not. So get this. Skytech Gaming has partnered with Intel and Signal RGB to build this incredible Diablo 4 themed PC. They are currently running a giveaway right now where you can enter for a chance to win it. Just click on that link in the description below to enter and find out more. And one of the biggest focal points of this beautiful PC is not only the hand-painted chest, which was 3D printed by the Skytech team, by the way, but also the potions on top, which actually react to your health and resources in real time as you play Diablo 4. This is also made possible by the Signal RGB app, which syncs RGB devices from any brand to bring you a cohesive lighting experience. But enough about the outside, because wait till you hear what's on the inside of this beastly machine. This PC is powered by the 13th gen Intel 13600K CPU and the RTX 4070 graphics card, giving you all the legendary hardware you need to defeat Lilith and save Sanctuary. The handcrafted chest is also designed with performance and cooling in mind for those long Diablo 4 gaming sessions, so you're good to go. So what are you waiting for? Enter the contest right now by clicking the link in the description below for a chance to win this incredible Diablo 4 themed PC. And a huge thanks to Skytech Gaming, Intel, and Signal RGB for sponsoring this video and believing in my channel here at Open World Games. All right, so let's get into the official stuff. First and foremost, starting out on Twitter with Adam Fletcher, who says this: we have been hearing feedback from players regarding some of the changes in 1.1 for Diablo 4. We're going to be having a campfire chat later this week on Friday to talk more about it, and we will have more details and timing in the next day. Thanks again for the feedback. Oh boy, so Friday should be super interesting indeed. I cannot wait to see what they have to say here about this one. They're probably going to really be selling us on those Malignant hearts. I promise you that. In fact, more on that in just a moment. Now, we also have Paul Tassi, who goes on to say this as well. He says, Helltides Cinder drops are down like, I don't know, 50 to 70% in addition to mystery chest cost increases, but the former may be a bug, it seems. And we have a reply from Adam Fletcher, who confirms it is. We will have a fix in the first hotfix. So yes, this patch created even more problems. Helltides right now have not been worth it whatsoever. But yeah, you know, when we have problems and we're getting a bunch of shacos, they fix it absolutely immediately, but you know, they're going to take their time fixing this Cinder problem. Let me tell you what, I hope they fix it soon. They call it a hot fix. It needs to be addressed pretty much immediately, in my opinion. Now, we have Icy Veins, who says this: the exact level requirements to move to World Tier 3 and 4 have been found at 40 and 60. This change arrived for new characters after the patch, as your capstone dungeon clear won't register before those levels. But hold up now, we have a reply here from Adam Fletcher, who says we will be removing the level requirement for World Tier 3 and 4. So they're going to be reverting that back right there. Probably going to be happening in the hotfix alongside what is going on with Helltides. But yeah, there was an interesting article from PCGamesIn.com, and it says this right here. It says, Blizzard doesn't want you to limit your creative Diablo 4 builds. You've probably seen the Diablo 4 Shred Druid build that's dominated in the lead up to Season 1. So PC Games In asked Blizzard about its views on wild combos. And this interview, by the way, get this, is post patch 1.1. So this is definitely interesting for sure. Things have definitely changed. So stick with me here. You're going to want to hear this one. All right, so it goes on to say this: if you haven't seen the absolutely wild Diablo 4 Shred Druid build, then by Inaris, where have you been? As Blizzard's mammoth RPG game hurdles towards an inaugural season, I asked Associate Game Director Joe Porpora whether or not the team is hoping to crush Diablo 4's most OP combinations in testing, or whether or not they enjoy watching them wreak havoc on Sanctuary before reigning in the chaos. You know, it's apparent to me they love crushing hopes and dreams. Now, furthermore, the article goes on to say this right here. And chaos it is. Most recently, the Shred Druid build went viral, with its screen-filling Diablo 3 style damage numbers, of course, coming into Diablo 4 Season 1, the Shred Druid is no more. But when I spoke to Purpura in a recent roundtable, he stresses the importance of build creativity, noting that the team doesn't want to stifle these OP, stress-inducing combinations. You would have me fooled. Now it says this: we are going to continue to be checking on powerful builds, but part of the development of Diablo 4 from the very early days is that we want to be comfortable with the idea of there being lots and lots of crazy combinations that will be possible in the toolkit that we're offering to players. Okay, so let's continue reading. It says that carries with it the potential of there being some builds that just end up having 1 or 2 bugs, especially with certain powers, or something that should be capped doesn't end up getting capped. He continues, we're finding these things. We've revised some of our own testing strategies and our content construction strategies as well. Furthermore, they go on to say this right here. However, he's quick to clarify that the goal here is to not limit the ability for players to create really exciting or powerful builds by making all these things more additive or simplified or streamlined, but rather to make sure we're trying to do more on the back end to try and catch more of these builds before they go live. So in a way, if I could read between the lines there, it sounds like they're catching these builds, these OP, crazy, broken, I suppose you would call them, builds, and essentially fixing them, and they want to catch it before it releases. That's my assessment of what he's saying here. Let me know if I read that one right. But yeah, let's keep going. Now it says, coming in Season 1, the recent Diablo 4 patch has been heavily criticized for its push towards glass cannon style, high damage, low defensive play. Build creativity is at the core of Diablo, so no doubt there'll be an explanation of the more controversial changes during this Friday, July 21st campfire chat. Ooh, can't wait for that one. Now it says, all I know is that the quest designer Madeline James promised me some wild Diablo 4 Sorcerer builds in Season 1, and I cannot wait to see them. They rely on the new Diablo 4 Malignant Hearts, which will hopefully make up for a few of the latest patches' rougher nerfs. My Sorceress needs a boost. Okay. See, there it is. This is what I said in my previous video, if you missed it, that they're going to do their absolute best to try to sell you on Malignant Hearts. They essentially just destroyed a lot of builds, and they're like funneling you into Season 1 no matter what. Like, you have no choice but to go into Season 1 and get the Malignant Hearts. And then in turn, you're put in front of, guess what? The Battle Pass. So my personal opinion, this is all about getting you to ultimately the end goal here, the Battle Pass. Yeah, it's a shame that they have taken this route and have been so, I suppose you would say, aggressive about getting you to those Malignant Hearts. They didn't have to do this whatsoever. It just seems like this recent patch is designed around the Malignant Hearts, creating an absence of power, so you seek out that power in Season 1. So I don't think that's how it should have been done, honestly. I think it was the wrong approach, and it has definitely pissed off most of the community. All right, so we do have some interesting replies to this very article out on Reddit. Of course, the headline is, here, Diablo 4 is meant to have crazy build combinations, even if they break the game. Do you guys agree with this or not? By the way, sound off. Let's scroll on down here. It says, are those crazy builds with us in the room right now? That one made me laugh quite a bit there. All right, so, and then we have the question, where's the high damage? Like, what are they talking about? Because, of course, everything has been nerfed. Now, Striker says the hearts look like they'll add quite a bit of damage. Not sure if it makes up for the vulnerable crit nerfs, though. Further reply, a lot of people think the hearts won't do much, and I don't get it. Some of them look crazy strong, like the crit one. Most of the complaints seem to be from people who just want to play on the Eternal Realms. Sucks to be them, I guess. So that's a different take, a completely polar opposite take from what I'm hearing. Some people are actually kind of looking forward to the Malignant Hearts, I suppose you can say. Let me know if that's you, if you're actually excited for Season 1, or if you're totally bummed right now. All right, so we're going to head on over to icyveins.com. They had a very interesting article here. It says this, new Uber boss coming with Season of the Malignant. This is really cool. We'll be getting that new boss, as you can see here, that we will be experiencing with Season 1. But apparently there's going to be an Uber version of this boss with also some level requirements. So let's get into this article, shall we? So it goes on to say this right here. It seems there's one more addition coming with Season 1 that we didn't quite know about yet. In an interview with GameSpot, quest designer Madeline James discussed a new Uber boss being added to expand the endgame. She doesn't go into much more detail than that, but the assumption is she means something like the capstone bosses and Uber Lilith, aka the Echoes. Goes on to quote her, she says this, "Looking back at Diablo 3 seasons, we did so much, so I hope players will be pleasantly surprised with how much new content they're getting with new powers, uniques, and the new storyline. We're adding a new Uber boss that will help make in-game content fresh." And there is the freaky new Uber boss. And it says, "We already knew about a new boss battle for the season, Varshan the Consumed, and have seen him in action. It seemed like he would be a normal boss related to the Malignant Tunnels feature. However, the most likely interpretation is that he will be both with regular version in the seasonal content, and then the Echo of the Consumed would be the level 100 Pinnacle Uber encounter. That's our guess anyway, but it's possible but unlikely that this Uber boss is something else entirely." Now, we have further confirmations and replies about this one from Adam Fletcher out on Twitter, who did respond to this. He goes on to confirm the following. It won't be level 100. It's going to be 60 and 80 for World Tier 3 and World Tier 4 when we're talking about, of course, the Uber Pinnacle boss. So regular boss is apparently going to be 60, and I guess the Uber is going to be reachable at level 80, so you guys know. And World Tier 3 and World Tier 4, respectively, according to those levels. So yeah, let's see how many of you actually decide to make it up to level 80 in Season 1, or if you're just too jaded to even go into Season 1 at this point. All right, now, heading back to Twitter, we have this one. It says, "I have a question about Malignant Heart sockets. Will the color be randomized upon dropping? Additionally, will we have the option to add our own colored sockets to our jewelry?" And we have a response here from Joseph Propora. It says this, "The sockets are random. Whenever you'd add a socket to a ring or amulet via the jeweler, it will always have a random Malignant color attached to it. Reminder though, that you can only have one socket on a piece of jewelry." That's kind of a bummer, you can only have one socket, but if it's powerful enough, that's pretty cool. But at the same time, on the flip side of all of this, you have to remember that you have to kind of consider replacing something that's in your jewelry currently that you really might like that's already socketed. So some people are already bothered by this, the fact that they're going to be losing power in another way while trying to replace the power with this new Malignant stuff. So these Malignant hearts have to be absolutely crazy, amazing good for players to be convinced to do that, of course. All right, so now it's time to get into your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up in a future video, so let's do this. All right, so my most recent video was, of course, about patch 1.1 being an absolute disaster. Here it is right here. Let's scroll down and see what you guys had to say, shall we? So it says this: "I feel the most for what I feel are some of the most talented artists in the world who work on the game Blizzard is crapping out lately. Every time I load Diablo 4, I'm absolutely amazed by the visual fidelity and attention to detail." Exactly. That alone was half of my source of enjoyment for the game. But it feels like all the amazing work of these artists is being tainted and wasted by the greedy bean counters in charge of the overall game development and monetization. Blizzard art team, leave the company and bring your amazing talents with you to a studio who will still understand the point of video games to begin with. Is there any companies out there like that? That's what I'm wondering. Is there any companies left? Name them in the comments if you believe there are companies out there like that at all. I'm sure there are, but yeah, you know, it makes me think of Hogwarts Legacy. That was the recent game that was just single player only. I loved it for that reason. I didn't have to worry about anything being hidden in the battle pass or taken away from the core game. I want more of that, you know? Now we have this one right here from Magellan, who says this: "I mostly agree with the former Blizzard designer. I would have liked to hear him before buying this game, but like we all agree, this patch makes no sense in any ways. The next days are going to be crucial. 100%. The next few days are going to be everything. How they actually handle this is going to determine what happens with their community, if they're going to stick around or not. Like I said, there's plenty of other games coming up, Blizzard, that people will be willing to jump to immediately. Starfield, you know, we have Remnant 2 coming up. And then, of course, yes, Baldur's Gate. That's going to be absolutely a mammoth of a game, I think. I think it's going to catch a lot of people by surprise. And then finally, we have Blizzard. We're going to be careful with nerfs. Proceeds to slap a 50% nerf on the strongest build. I agree. You know what? I feel like we have been trolled. I'm serious. Like, it is so weird. There was a quote from one of the developers that said, hey, you know, expect some nerfs. I believe he used the term some in there. So I was like, oh, okay. So it's going to be a few nerfs. This was like beyond a few little nerfs this time around. So I feel like we've been trolled. That's how I feel about it. It's just so strange. But anyway, I'm really hoping they take the feedback seriously. They do some revisions on this and revert some of the changes back. And perhaps even consider raising up some elements of the game instead of nerfing stuff. But thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned here for more Diablo 4 news and updates. I have you guys covered as always, and I will see you all next time. Take care.